Ladies and gentlemen, karibu sana kwa another edition of Sinema Corner. Today we are talking to a gentleman I've known for many years. One of the best sound mixers and sound designers we have in Kenya. His name is Mike. Atatuambia hiyo ingine. So karibu sana Mike.
Asante sana.
Yeah, so tell us about Mike.
Mike. So, my name is Michael Owino. I'm a sound technician, designer, whatever you want to call me. But in a layman's, mimi ni mtu wa sauti. I've been doing this. I think this is the 7th year of in the industry. Well, not only doing sound, but many other things that involves production. But sound is my main specialization. Yes.
So Mike, before atatufikia kwa sound, because we are talking about film sound in this case. Before atatufikia sasa specifically kwa sound, like how did you find yourself in the film industry?
Okay. So I think nitaanza tu na background yangu. So I was born and raised in Kibera slums. Back kitambo sana. Towards the end of my 80s hapo. So born and raised in Kibera. Actually mimi mother aliniza, I was born hapa Kenyatta tu. Kenyatta Hospital. And the first place alinipeleka ni mtaa. So ile udogo wangu until nimegrow nilikuwa tunajua life ya slums. So zile mashida na unajua siku hizi but this Kibera imetransform. Kibera has really transformed. We have buildings and nini. So sometimes when people hear when I say Kibera slums, nowadays it's called Kibra. But I think you'll understand when I say Kibera because I've grown up knowing it's Kibera. So when you hear of Kibera slums, someone may thought of maybe hapa Kibera because kuna siku hizi buildings zimejengwa na nini. No, ma high rise na nini. Mimi nimezaliwa ndani ya Kibera slums, ndani kabisa kwa nyumba za matope. So huko ndo nimelelewa, nika grow. And life in Kibera, I can say it was very, very tough. Because once you stay in such places, it shows that your income, your parents' income, were not able to give you a better life. You get? So I went to school in these private schools, zile wasa wamejenga tu mtaa.
Za mtaani.
Zizo za mtaa tu. My first primary school, actually, nursery school, nimesomea shule fulani ilikuwa ya PAG. Ilikuwa tu karibu na home.
That's Pentecostal
Assemblies of God. Walikuwa wamejenga ka nyumba tu hapo. So during weekdays, they turned it into a school. And then nikachapa nursery school yangu hapo. And then sasa kuna time ya kwenda form 1. So I could not afford back then these public schools, they were very expensive. They were meant for wameweza. Yeah, so my parents could not afford that because they used to pay school fees. So they took me to a school called Kichinjio.
Kichinjio.
Yes. That was the nickname of the school.
That's still in motherland.
Yes, in Kibera. Those were one of the popular schools, private schools in Kibera slums. Okay. But the full name, the official name was Makina Self-Help Primary School.
Okay. Tuko primary.
Tuko primary. Okay. So Makina Self-Help Primary School.
But ikaitwa Kichinjio.
So Kichinjio came about because before ujamaa anunue hiyo place, ilikuwa place ya kuchinja mbuzi na ng'ombe na nini.
Okay.
Yes. So people knew it as Kichinjio. So even though it became a school, but the name Kichinjio still remained. So hapo tukamaliza nikachapa hadi class 7. 2002 when Kibaki came into power, akakuja na free primary education. Actually, we were the first people to start the free primary education. Alipotangaza tu hivi 2003, si elections zinakuanga December.
Ukaenda Kichinjio free?
Sisi ndo wale teke. We went to that school and uzuri nilipita interview and then I went to that school. So 2003 I was in class 7. Nikaenda vizuri, nikafanya class 8. Unfortunately, I was not able to go to high school because kulikuwa na issue na school fees na nini. So my mom told me si urudie tu. So nikarudia tena. The same school.
Kichinjio?
Joseph Kang'ethe.
Oh, Joseph Kang'ethe.
I went to Joseph Kang'ethe. That one after sasa free primary education. I went to Joseph Kang'ethe primary school. So nilifanya class 8 mara mbili. Ndio sasa baadaye. The reason why nilirudia shule is because my brother was ahead of me. Alikuwa anaenda kufanya form 4. So you know back then kwenda kufanya form 4 ni kama kulipa school fees tena mara mbili. So it was not easy to admit me form 1 and then bro pia anaenda kufanya.
So you have like 2 people in high school?
Yes, 2 people in high school. So I said why not? Let me just repeat this class. So nikarudia. Nilipata grade. Si ati siku nilifail by the way.
Ni marks hazikutosha? No,
marks zilitosha. Zilitosha tu vizuri my first class 8. My second class 8 nikaongeza some nini
marupurupu juu yake.
Marupurupu juu yake.
Usituambie zilikuwa ngapi?
Usiseme. My first class 8 I got 314
out of 500.
Out of 500.
That's impressive.
Yes, and then my second one I got 347.
That was an improvement.
Lakini
sio kunishinda.
Yes. So hata hizo harakati tu za nimemaza shule, it was still not easy to get school fees. So but this time lazima tu ningeenda shule liwe liwalo. So luckily nilitwa shule ingine Manze. Nilitwa Kamiti Secondary School.
Yeah, I know you pass the prison, you go down a hill, unapanda, unapita kwa mashamba huko, unapita like where the wardens quarters. I know the school.
You know the school.
I know the school.
So there was a nearby school. Ilikuwa poa. So madha akaenda kaulizia. Akapata it was Lang'ata High School. Because Lang'ata High School by that time wase wengi wa ghetto walikuwa wanaenda Lang'ata High School. So that's where nilienda. Hata hawakufikiria mara mbili walinichukua because my grades were good. And then when I was in Lang'ata High School tukaendelea na masomo vizuri and nikafanya form 4. So to answer your question of how did I enter into film? So home kwetu mimi nilikuanga entertainer wa home. Talkative nini, ma story nini. So my mom used to tell me, we utafanya kazi ya nini? Ya radio. Because by that time kazi ya radio ndio ilikuwa inajulikana. Hiyo ndio job. Inataka watu wanaongea sana. Mimi nilikuwa na entertain watu mbaya. And then unajua pia life ya mtani ya mtaa. You play nini mavida. By there I was
zile mavideo za
video halls
za Kobole. Mlikuwa mnalipa pesa ngapi?
Ilianza na 3 bob. Mimi nilianza kikiwa 3 bob. The videos were 3 shillings. So mimi ukinipea 3 bob, ukinipea 5 bob ilikuwa sawa sana.
Unaona movie moja una negotiate upunguziwe hii ya pili.
Actually nilikuwa nadu hivyo. What you do, una time.
Unalipa tu fee.
Una time. Saa ile hii movie inaenda kuisha. Ama iko katikati. Unaingia, unamalizia. Alasa unalipa next.
Oh. Okay.
Those were, but hizo ndio zilikuwa entertainment zangu. Especially shule zikifungwa. Mnapata mmefunga shule kitu saa 4 hivi. Mbio. Actually mimi nilikuwa naomba do. Msi wote najua namuomba do. Nisaidie 5 bob nikaone movie. Nisaidie 5 bob nikaone vida. Uzuri sikuwa na watch zile za usiku cause zilikuwa na timing zao. Nisha watch hadi ya 4:30 cause movies zingine ni 2.5 hours. 6 niko home. But nilikuwa msawa movie. Hadi mbuyo alikuwa, hadi mother alikuwa anajua, mbuyo alikuwa anajua. Mimi nilikuwa tu msawa vida. That was my kind of entertainment. So nilipomaliza form 4 the question came sasa cause sasa pia mimi nikaanza ku grow interest. I want to join media school KMC. No, actually my mom met a friend ambaye alikuwa anamjua, akamwambia kijana wangu amefanya class amefanya form 4 anataka kufanya media school. And akamwambia kuna msee najua ako KMC. Tuone kama anaweza muorganizea shule. So that's the time I knew KMC. Sikuwa najua. Nasikia the great Kenya Institute of Mass Communication.
Established in 1964.
So hapo ndo sasa nikajua KMC. So when I applied, mimi nilikuwa na apply radio.
Juu ulikuwa umeambiwa wewe ni mtangazaji.
Mimi ni mtangazaji. So mtu alikuwa ananisaidia kuget shule, akani advice. Akaniambia, radio saa ngapi? By the time utapata job ya radio, manze itakuwa umetamak na nini na nini. So akaniambia, hebu chukua film. Because bado ni industry iko young, still young in the industry. It's an industry that has not, is still growing. It's easier to get opportunities. Akadi advice pia chukua sound. So because to me it was not a problem because I also wanted to know hii film, what does it involve, and as long as iko in the line of media, nikaamua kuchukua film. Actually msali nisaidia kuingia KMC ni msiani. Msali ndiye alinipea advice. Anaitwa Buhere. Wycliffe Buhere.
Naitango Wycliffe Philip Buhere.
Yes.
The man himself.
The man himself. Yeye alini advice. Akaniambia chukua film because him also he was a lecturer teaching film. Na
I think just to reinforce that, I think he has had an influence on very many people. Very many people because hata mimi he also pulled my ears from an engineering class. Hata mimi nilikuwa nataka I also wanted telecommunication engineering. Akaniambia hapana, film ndio mzuri. So msiani, wherever you are watching from, we have a lot of people. Si usema thanks sana kwako.
Yes. Though so mimi nilipoadmitiwa KMC nikaingia nini. Though hadi wa leo wasa ushago wanangojanga kuona kwa TV ama kunisikia kwa radio. Because they thought waliambiwa Mike ameenda kufanya stories za radio, TV. That's what they know. You say there are some courses people see people always watch TV, they watch films, but they don't know what kind of course is this. Hawajui kuna course inaitwa film.
Nafikirianga watu tu wamezaliwa wakaingia kwa TV.
Wakaingia kwa TV. They don't know that people go through school to learn a certain thing. Ama wakiona mse wa kamera wanajua tu huyu ni mse wa kamera.
Japicha.
Japicha. That's what they say. So nilipoingia KMC and we were introduced to film and kona kitu inaweza. And then funny enough wale wase walichukuliwa kwa sound tulikuwa wachache sana. We were only 5 people kwa class. But a good thing with the KMC, the first year mnafunzwa general so that you can be able to understand what each department does. You are taught camera, you are taught sound, you are taught editing, you are taught photography, and what. So that and then as you progress, now you start you start
Specializing
in your area. So KMC tukachapa 3 years. Tukachapa 3 years and life ya KMC ilikuwa poa. I learned a lot. Sisi ni wale wase, you see, ukiangalia background yako na mahali umetoka, ukipata opportunity yote, whatever opportunity you get,
you exploit it
you
to the
exploit
full.
to the fullest. So mimi manze, education was my thing. College was my thing. Mimi, I was not distracted by anything. Like you could see kuna mastude fulani au wako distracted. Mimi shule, kama ni class niko prompt. Kama nini, mpaka kuna time kuna time my fellow students walikuwa wanaangalia Maika kwa daro. Kama Maika yuko hiyo daro haiko.
Classes za Mr. Wambulwa. That is another legend.
Yes. So nikiwa KMC, like I said, it was good. And then KMC, there's a way that they have their kind of model, their course model has been put in a way that you get to learn something and specialize on it completely. And like other schools, you see like KMC where they have film school. There are some other schools that film is part of a course. It's a unit, you get. So with KMC, it was easy. There's film department, there's broadcast journalism, there's journalism. So at least you can be able to differentiate which is which. And then also in film, they have also categorized it in sound, editing, production, you get. So with that model, it's very easy for one to know actually where is my strength, you get. Because I can remember there's someone who was thrown in camera, but interest yake ilikuwa production, you get. So they were able to negotiate. Actually alitupo editing, but interest yake ilikuwa ni production. So naona he was able to negotiate with the HOD.
Akarudi kwa production.
Okay. You get. So when I was introduced to sound, film sound, it was so interesting. And I started to realize some things that I had interacted with sound back then, even before I knew sound, before it was sound, before I knew I was interacting with sound. Because if I can remember, if I can go back, tukiwa toi, you could experiment with so many things, the electronics in the house, na nini. So you'll find my dad used to have hizi radio za kitambo, because they were national star.
The transistor radios.
Yes, the transistor radios. Zile, kwanza I can remember my dad, the radio had 2 speakers, kuna huku na huku. Alafu zilikuwanga na option ya record, rewind back, nini, dubbing.
Na unasema hamkuwa wadosi?
No, unajua. My father is a Luo.
I get that part.
My father is a Luo. So he wanted to live the Luo life. Yes. And sisi wadosi lakini, he could buy things.
Radio cassette.
Yo radio record na baadhi yocha.
Na inawekelewa kitambaa.
Kitambaa, kwanza tumebeba na manguo nini, tumebeba vizuri. Tukifika ocha, hiyo sasa ndio entertainment. Yes. So with that radio, we could experiment so many things. Actually, we could buy an empty cassette. Tunaeka hii side ingine. Tuna experiment na dubbing na recording. So we could actually do dubbing on the other. There are 2 compartments. Kuna compartment A na B. So unaeka empty cassette on compartment B. And then the original cassette on A. And you can actually do dubbing. So baadaye ndo nilikuja kurealize, kumbe things that I was doing.
Kumbe imeishi ukifanya sound.
And then with film, the videos that I've been watching, kina Kung Fu, kina Jet Li, Jackie Chan, ndo nimekuja kufanya hii. So it was so interesting, and I got really interested. Paka na stories za radio na nini. Nikasaulika. But then I came to realize that with sound, I can also work in a radio station. Yes, because sound is sound. It doesn't change. Nalingana sasa ni wapi. Hii ni radio, hii ni film, hii ni camera, na nini. So, during my nini KMC, unajua sisi ni wale wase tulienda KMC ujui mse. Pale kuna wase wamekam wako na my godfathers, they have brothers in the stations and what have you. But una get, sisi ni wale wase tulienda tu KMC ujui mtu yoyote. No one can hold your hand. Paka unapata KMC usually have you need to go for 2 internship. Mimi nilikosa internship moja. Simply because
no connections.
Kwanza kuna lecturer fulani hapo aliniweka standby mbaya mbovu. Nilimngoja like for straight 6 hours. Atanitafutia internship tao, nilikaa mazenja imekukula nini, unangoja alichukua pepa zako unangoja.
Na alishaenda home.
Ananiambia ngoja sijui niko wapi and ilienda hivyo. So mi internship yangu ya kwanza nilikosa. But I suru nikamwambia HOD manze mimi nimekosa internship. So I don't know what you will do. But mimi nimekosa internship. But thank God aliniwezesha kufumaliza KMC. And I want to thank wale waseni the lecturers that I met along the way. Unajua mimi ni mse I know how to socialize. I know how to make friends. And that is one thing that helped me when I was in college. Making friends with lecturers. My lecturers hawako maadui ama nini. They were my friends because I knew these lecturers, they have an attachment outside. Because most of our lecturers were guest lecturers. So that means they have other jobs and they come to teach us. So mimi nilimekubesha na wao nikijua these people, there's one way or the other, they can give me the connection that I need. Anaweza nishika mkono niambie kuna job fulani. And siwezi ogopa kuwataja. There are people wamenisaidia. They have played a role through my college and even up to now. Through the opportunities they gave me, ziliweza kunipropel until mimi mse hapa niko sahi. Number one is our HOD, Mr. Manyara. Mr. Manyara alitupea opportunity. He was there to listen. Alikuwa HOD but pia alinifunza sound. And then we have Mr. Wambulwa. Mr. Wambulwa also alikuwa anatufunza sound acoustics. Yes. Mr. Wambulwa alicheza role nyingine kubwa sana kwa my life. Kunifunza sound acoustics. At least hii nikiingia kwa hao ama wherever I want to do recording na apply knowledge alinipea. And then along the way as we were now specializing, other courses were introduced. Other can I call it, they're not courses, other units were introduced. So 2 teachers were introduced to us. Kulikuwa na Waswa mwalimu Oscar Waswa teaching us digital sound, and then Gabu akakuja.
Gabu ni mgani ni mimi?
He also played a role in my growth in terms of sound, because nakumbuka you came with a new concept of sound design. Sijui kama kuna shule inafunza sound design, sijui ile KMC inafunza sound design. And nakumbuka vitu tulifanya with sound design were great. Nakumbuka tukaenda kufanya makungfu huko kwa uwanja kila siku ya Nomolo, so that we can be able to design, to see how kung fu is done and so many things. So these are people that naweza count, they have helped me in this journey ya ku realize what sound is all about. And journey imekuwa amazing, and within 3 years actually I graduated as the best in sound.
Congratulations.
I was the best in sound.
Hapo mafans wa Sinema Corner tupigie Mike makofi.
Yes, and it was so nice.
So let me fast forward this story.
Yes.
you know, you have already, you know, gotten very good grounding, very good experiences. You're in good hands. You've met, you know, good people like, you know, like Mr. Ambulwa taught me. Mr. Manyara also taught me. Mr. Buhere also taught me. These are very amazing people, and they're still shaping lives. Although Mr. Ambulwa alienda retire, but I think the effect he has had on people will continue for ages. Yeah. So after that, umetuambia hukuwa na connections. How did you end up like, you know, working, in, you know, how was after umemaliza college, umegraduate, it's happy times. What happened after that?
After graduation, there's a family friend who knew Bob Nyanja. So akaniambia, since he knew what I did, akaniambia, where I work, we're in the same building with Bob Nyanja. So if I can connect you with him, we're in good rapport. Nimsema tunaelewana sana. So if naweza kuconnect na Bob, itakuwa fiti sana. So he did the connection. Akakuja kaongea na Bob, and I came. And that's now I did my internship, my last internship. Because with us, you do an internship, then you graduate. The last internship, then you graduate. So I started my internship before I graduated. Na nilipoingia Cinematic Solutions, ikakuwa tu nywe. And that's now sasa nikaingia kwa job market, honing my skills, kwanza kuona, because you see schools they teach you basic, but so now these are the things you come to know them when you're in the field. So I've been at Cinematic ever since 2013. In fact, when I graduated, I was still in Cinematic. Bob retained me because he saw what I can do, and up to now, I've been in Cinematic, and we've done a lot with the company.
So and it's amazing that you know, you've been able to sustain this journey up to this point with Cinematic, because I think I also remember tukifanya, you remember that production where tulikuwa tuna shoot in KU, two sides.
Yes.
Two sides. And there was the then AD Zoro.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you know, after that, then we even shot that project that we were
that project.
Yeah,
school project.
my school project. Yes. and all that. So like now when the opportunity came, now the chance was there to grow professionally. So like take us through like now the professional journey, like the experiences you've had, the productions you've done, you know, the different technologies you've been able to come around, and all that.
So when I joined Cinematic Solution, it was a well-established production house with Bob Nyanja ambaye alikuwa anajulikana. So believe me, productions zilikuwa zina come, different productions. Like I remember when I came in, they were doing a documentary for the CGTN, formerly CCTV. So it gave me an opportunity to know how to do the sound for a documentary. Until now, we are still doing them, the CGTN, Faces of Africa. So when we are doing a Kenyan story, doing sound, wakienda nje, because of budget issues, he sorts himself wherever he is. But ikikuja hapa, I usually do mixing. I do mix the audio. By mixing, I mean when after the editor has done editing and everything, he gives me the audio so that I can be able to balance them, so that dialogue is the same, music, nothing is higher than the other one, everything is balanced. So I also do that. And I've also done other things like apart from documentaries, I've done what do you call them? I've done TV shows. All these I've done is sound, but once in a while I find myself doing production also. There's also another show that I found myself one day doing camera, because camera mana kutokea. We've done Ndoa and our TV show. It used to air on NTV. There was a show called Visanga. It was a sitcom, situational comedy. Actually, tulikuwa naifanya vile unaona what view sasa does. That idea ilikuwa cinematic. Bob had an idea of doing Visanga. We did Visanga. Visanga was one project that was very, very challenging when it came to sound, because we wanted to do it in a theater style. Theater style, you see the way theater is done. Msana kuja naongea, so there's no cut. It was one take. You come do story like theater. So it's upon you to mic these people. So back we used to do lapels. Tumeficha lapels kwa ndani ndo wanatumia. And then we do multi recording kwa machine, and it was so nice. Then nikikuja nafanya mixing so that ikuwe poa. So that is one project we used to do. We used to have like 6 people on stage. So imagine recording 6 lapels, even 7 at the same time. So it was one project that gave me a lot of experience. And then we've done commercials. We've done commercials like
Chuma ya Doshi.
Yeah, Chuma ya Doshi is our latest. We've done Doshi 1, Doshi 2. We've done my first production that I encountered, we did Maclick for the Maclick company. Tuliofanya commercial. Tumefanya hiyo Doshi. Mbona hazisahau? Tumefanya milk. There's a milk we've done. Inaitwa Fresher Milk. We've done for Fresher Milk. Pia iko air sana. Yes. I think those are the productions I've done. So in terms of sound, I've been able to encounter a lot of things on the way. And you see, the beauty about sound is sound never changes. Sound is sound. What changes is the technology. But sound ni ile unajua sika camera ile there will be a specification 4K nini, but sound is sound. Client atakwambia I need 4K, I need 2K. But atasema I need sound 4K.
Sound has always been
sound. Ajali umekuja na mic, hata wajui mics ni gani. So ni wewe sound technician ndo kujua this kind of scenario, I need this kind of microphone. But kwa kamera atakwambia kuja na red, kuja na sijui nini, Canon, Sony. But sound has always remained sound. So along my professional, I've been able to introduce to something called translations. And it's more of professional, I can call it ADR. ADR is audio dialogue replacement, whereby we remove an original audio and then we replace it with a new audio. But now this time we replace it with a new language. So everything remains the same, but the dialogue track, we're able to change it. So this one, the whatever we are doing is for the Jesus film, for those who have watched the Jesus film. So they have 2 productions that they have been translating through and through. So when they introduced that to us, actually in Kenya, I'm the first person to learn it. Then with that system, I know there are people who do that, but with the system, I'm the first person in Kenya to learn it. It's quite a new system with the new softwares that CJI encounter. It's called Reaper. So far I've done around 10 languages across Africa. Yeah. And to me it has been a wonderful experience, and it's amazing.
you've talked about this ADR system. So like, you know, take us, you know, just briefly, like through it. What's this technology, and how can we be able to take advantage of it, especially with our diversity of languages in Kenya as filmmakers?
With the technology that we are using, we call it Reaper. So amazingly, what these people have done, they've been able to customize Reaper so that it can be able to help them do the recording in an easy way. And most recordings we've done with the Reaper, unapata sync inaingia pap. And whenever we do these languages, I found it new every day. You wouldn't know that this was done in English. You may think it was done in the language you are doing. So it's so amazing. What they have done is, you see the whole film, wameweka kwa nini? Wameweka, since they have the original, they have the project files, they've been able to identify, they've been able to cut the dialogue and segmented them into something called loops. So they pick apart, that's loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, loop 4. So when you are doing recording, you record them as segment. So you record segment 1, and then they ensure that when you are doing your translation, you ensure that the number of words matches the original version. So that when you do your recording, when you record that segment or that loop, it fits kabisa. And they have done that for the whole film. So it was so amazing, such that uki play back, I think you've watched one of them. If you play back, you may think that the person was just speaking in that language, and it has been so amazing. So I've always thought, why if we try to adapt this in film, how it will be so amazing. You see, because in film unapata msee alienda akarecord sound mbaya. Most of the people, most of the producers, they force into a sound, tengeleza hii ikuwe sawa, unaona, and it ends up being a bad production. But if we can be able to adapt such a technology, it will help film great. It will help us so much in solving the sound issues. You get? So I believe ADR is the future. Actually, in Kenya is the future. We just need to adapt it. We just need to adapt it, and ikwe part of us. Americans, Hollywood, they do it. Most of their films, actually, squeezy films, always are Hollywood, is ADR.
So another thing about you know, like technology in sound, because I think we are at a certain point where, as you say, you know, the cameras are developing and stuff. You know, guys are coming up with new, like now we even have a 12K. We have a 12K.
That's it being launched the
Yeah,
other day.
yeah. There's a 12K. As you say, you know, sound remains the same. It's the technology that changes. You know, like in your own experience and assessment, where are we from technologically in terms of sound, and where are we? And are we at par with the world, or what do we need to do?
Kenya is really growing. Kenya is really growing in terms of technology, and I believe sound has not been left behind, because I don't think if in terms of sound, film sound, we've gone digital. I believe they're digital mixers, because that's the only thing you can do with sound, is come from analog mix to a digital mixer. Digital mixer gives you enough, you can play with it. But with film sound, you don't need much. You don't need to do much. We just need to know that the mixer you are working with can give you a good quality, can give you the channels that you need, and especially with film, you don't need so many channels, because once in a while you are not doing it's not a concert. You get. So in terms of technology, I think Kenya, we are there.
Mike, this is just something I'm asking because of what I have been able to hear from people in the industry. Mostly, and even what I've seen myself, this is something I've seen in Kenyan movies. You know, you go to watch a movie and you get a very good visual experience.
Yeah.
You know, guys are doing a very good job on the images. And I think, you know, people are taking advantage of the camera technology that is growing. But hata tukisemaga sound ni sound, we're still struggling. Kuna struggles as much as we are investing in very sophisticated and expensive equipment. We still have those struggles. So, you know, as someone who is actively in that sector, as one who stands accused in this case, ni nini inatusumbua hapo kwa sound?
Well, sound is very simple if you understand it, and it can be complicated if you don't understand it. Yeah. With the experience niko nayo and the knowledge niko nayo ya sound iko tu kwa set. Ati tuko na shoot, tafuta mtu wa sound akuje. Sound inafanyaje from scripting. From scripting inafaa umeanza kuinvolve mtu wa sound. Ndajue story so that they can know what the story is all about. And from there, even the scriptwriter should incorporate sound. Because communication is not all about camera. Because you see, when they are writing, they're only writing for the camera. They are not writing, and the story, they are not writing for the sound. Sound should be part of the story. And then, from there, even during rehearsals, when the actors are rehearsing, the sound technician should be there to know what is the blocking, where will I stand, why are they shouting? You understand what I'm saying? What kind of scene is this? Do we have so many movements? Are they shouting? Is it inside the water, or is it near an ocean? You see, the sound technician should be involved right from the first stage. And I think that's where we are lacking. That's where we are going wrong. And then another thing is, probably the people who are doing sound, they don't know the reason behind the action or behind the action. You get? Like, for instance, most of people who are doing sound, they got it from someone. Like, for instance, if I have a protege, someone I teach, I'll teach him sound, but I'll not tell him, why are we doing this?
So and inherit the good things,
yes,
and the mistakes.
Yes, and the mistakes. So he'll grow up, yes, to be a sound technician, but he will not know why is this thing being done like this. You understand what I'm saying? And then I think producers, watu wa sound huwa tumedharauliwa sana. Hatuchukuliwi kama we are serious. Really, do they know that sound constitutes 50% of anything you watch? Sound constitutes of 50%. And sometimes more. Because right now, even where we are here, when we hear a bang outside, hatutangoja tuione nini. Hatutangoja tuone ni nini. Tukisikia tu bang, our mind will tell us hiyo ni gun, hiyo ni bomb, or something else. Tutatoka mbio. You get? So sound takes a lot of You can have good camera work, good what, but kama hakuna sound, mind will switch off. Sasa switch off tu kabisa, sasa hii ni nini? But unaweza kuwa na umechapa shot zako zingine hapo ziko wide, but sauti iko safi. Sauti safi kabisa. Someone will actually wait aone kama itakuwa better. Maybe hatunaonyesha mchele. Hata kama maybe aseme okay, hebu tungoje, maybe ita get better. Because anaweza sikia. You get. So sisi tumedharauliwa sana. So maybe in terms of budget, unaona. Msee ana prefer aite mtu wa sound peke yake. Not knowing that mtu wa sound anafaa kuwa msina na boom assistant mwenye kushika boom. Because huwezi shika kusikiza sauti na unafuata msee na boom. It's hard. So I think producers wale upcoming wanafaa kuelewa, mostly upcoming, because wale producers wamekuwa kwa industry
wao ndo wako nayo mentality,
wanajua importance of sound. But wale upcoming I don't know, but generally producers na wale wase wako involved in film have budget for mtu wa sound. Watu wa sound have budget for sound, ikuwe both on location, ikuwe post production, because post production pia inakuwa ndio sasa disaster. Okay, umeileta mtu wa sound ama watu wa sound, umaliza nao, ukache editor ahandle hiyo sound. Editor yeye ata focus tu na picha, ata focus na sound, ata ame sound yako na get. So involve mtu wa sound right from where you're doing scripting hadi mwisho. Ile sasa mtu wa sound anamalizana na wewe. Like that's what we usually do here. Sound yangu ndio wewe inangojwa ndio wa export iende kwa client, because they know nishafanya mixing na kila kitu kwa balanced nikapeana. So I think that's the direction we are supposed to go. And then the ADR thing inafaa tuanze kuinvestia kabisa. It's not a must to use this technology we are using, but let's try and come up with ways on how to do ADR na kuwe na budget yake. Hizi vitu zote ni budget ndio inasema, because if you understand what you are doing, mtaona manze umesikiza sauti ukaona hii part haiko sawa, can you do something about it? You go to the studio, because these things are scripted. Unajua kitu iko scripted ni rahisi kuirudia. Yes, you can control it. You just bring the same actors in the studio, kila mtu hapo wanaona kenye walifanya, same emotions, same what, na mko na project, mnatoa tu zile sauti zao, sync itaingia. I've done a DR here, sync inaingianga na see the same language. Now what about this is now the same people, same script they were using, same things they were saying, sync itakuwa poa. And then unaongeza the other elements, music and the ambience that you took on the field. Na umesort hiyo story rather than una stress mtu wa sound maze book lane kitu hiyo kitu ni bo. Msana anakuletea sauti nyingine maze ni mbaya, you can't salvage it. So since pia sisi watu wa sound unataka unamua wacha nirushe huko ma plugins. Unarusha plugins sana sound robot.
The metal shillings.
Yes. You get, because umeambiwa pia unajiprove unaweza clean. Maze kitu if you don't get it right on location, you will not get it right on post production.
I like that.
Get it right on location. And if you've not gotten it right on location, you can fix it on post through ADR. Inafaa hii culture ADR come. Inafaa tukue nayo.
Our audiences complain about sound yetu. They don't just complain about dialogue. They also wonder why we don't use our music, why we don't compose our own music. Mbona swingia tu, unapata mtu ameenda amechukua music ya Avengers, ameweka, alafu anafikiria mtu ajua ama mtu anaingia kwa some of those websites, libraries, online.
Ameenda kwa website ya wazungu. Unajua wazungu hawana African touch. Hawa wanatumia vitu zao.
So mbona, like, why don't we have like, you know, such a do we actually have you know, specialized composers for film music in Kenya?
Tuko nao. There's talent in Kenya. There's talent. But you know, people need to have knowledge of what they're doing. They need to have knowledge of film. You get? That's why people need to go to school to actually learn this. Hii ni kitu na learn tu. You have to learn how to do it. You can be good in making music, but wengi wanatengeneza music. And mostly nimeona watu make music, they don't make film for music. Ni watu wamekuwa kwa hii music ingine ya. You get? So wana approach wangu watu. Hebu nitengenezee. Nitengenezee kitu fulani. Nataka kitu inaenda hivi. Yeah, they can be able to create it. But yeah, asha create amekupea. So wewe ndio ucheze nayo. We need to have scorers, people who do scoring. Yeye kazi yake ni kuscore for film. Anakaa chini, anaiona bila audio, alafu ana imagine hapa itaendaje, hii ni tension, hii ni nini. So that akitengeneza music ana make for the specific scene. Unaona? But hapa unaambia niaje, sijui msioka nitengelezee hii muziki inakaa hivi, inakaa upbeat hivi kidogo, iko na Kenyan hivi kidogo, African touch,
iko sad kidogo,
iko sad kidogo. Yeah, anaenda tu kwa keyboard, unaona, asha make music. You get? So we actually need people who are trained to do this. Una get? And it's very simple. Just understand what is the impact of film. What is the impact of music in this? Alafu ukifanya utapata tu watu like I think I've shared with you this. If we can have our own domain whereby we approach people to make music to be used in productions. Na inakuwa tu a Kenyan production whereby it's a website you can access. Unaingia hapo, unalipa abdo zako, una access music unataka. Inakuwa Kenyan thing. Like sometimes mimi naambiwa hebu nitafutie music, inabidi nimetafuta sijui nani hizo ni za wazungu. Na za wazungu wameweka music za wazungu. Na mtu msana anakuambia nataka with an African touch, Afro fusion, Afro what, unaona? Haziingiani. So I think it's a high time that tuanze to go through in that direction. People should learn film. That's the only solution. Learn film, jua what is needed, how does music, so kuna talent ya kutengeneza music, but si music ya film. Ukienda shule utapata hiyo knowledge, and then utajua how to use it.
Yeah, so tukimalizia, why is Mike seeing himself in, you know, in the near and the far future? You know, in terms of sound, where do you see it going?
I've always wanted to, you see, I've not done much in terms of sound, in terms of work. Sija diversify sana when it comes to productions and what. So since I'm still young in the industry, but with the knowledge I have, I'm seeing myself, I want to go in the direction of ADR and using Foley sound. You see? Because hizo ndio vitu nimegundua ziko Kenya. Hakuna mtu Kenya anafanya Foley sound. Hakuna kabisa. So if in future nataka ni divert, niachane na stories za location sound, niachane na stories za sijui, ni focus tu on Foley and ADR. So wasa wameenda wamecheza movie zao, zimewararukia huko. Sound ni mbaya. Umerap msewa sound. Maybe hata hujamlipa. But unafikiria instead ya kwenda kushoot tena,
wacha tupitie kwa mic.
Tupitie kwa mic. Anakuja. Unakam, nasikiza movie yako. Tunaita actors na tunachapa. And we correct it. That's where I want to see myself. Aya. Kuna if you watch hizi Hollywood films, the kind of sound effects they have, great sound effects. Hizi si vitu wamerecord location, hizi ni vitu zimetengenezwa studio. Msee anafikiria hii ni nini inaweza toa sound inakaaje, anaimake, anaipea sound. That's called Foley sound. It's actually you are recreating sound in the studio. Kuna ma footsteps zingine zina sound weird, ulizi record location zina sound weird. Unarudi studio, unazirecreate, zinakuwa perfect, unazibalance, unazi-EQ, zina sound fit. You get? You are on location. Kuna vitu hazisikiki, yeah? You cannot hear them, but when you go to studio, you can recreate actually sound for them, and you design them, and you balance them. That's where I'm seeing myself. Tunataka kuchange industry in terms of sound. Huko ndo naona nikitaka kufika.
I think I've enjoyed this conversation, and it has, you know, it's quite a journey. It's quite a journey, and some very profound stuff that you've talked to us. So, you know, as we conclude this conversation, you know, what are your parting words, you know, to our Sinema Corner people, and also to the people in our industry?
To everyone who will watch this, and both to the consumers and to the producers. And producers nowadays involves people who content creators, the vloggers, people who do things on YouTube, IG. Please try and ensure that your sound is good. Invest. Nowadays you don't need to go complicated. Technology has made it easier such that we have even these small microphones, lapel microphones that you can connect straight to your phone, and it will just give you a better result. Ensure that your sound is good. Sound is key. Before you go big and other things, start small. Start small. This goes to people who are also doing weddings and events. Just ensure that your sound is good. You'll get clients like me. When I even quote, when I pitch for jobs, even weddings, even funerals, my strongest point is sound. Naambianga msee dakisha sound yake iko poa. Hebu enda uone harusi ya wengine. Sauti yao zikwange poa. But yangu itakuwa poa. Yes. So, and wale nimewafanyia job watasema wenyewe ulifanya job poa. Wedding yangu iko poa, iko exciting, because they can be able to hear that preacher. They can be able to clearly hear their vows, their speeches. It's perfect.
Sawa. Thank you very much for joining us today in this edition of Sinema Corner. You know, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation with Mike, and I hope the advice that he has given us today will be of meaning to you. So let's keep enjoying sound. We'll talk to more professionals in sound. We'll keep talking to more actors, more directors. Remember to comment on our videos, on our website, on our YouTube channel, you know, in our Facebook page. Talk to us. Tell us the one you'd want to see, whether it does camera, whether it's an editor. We want to talk to all of them and hear their stories. So thank you very much for joining us today. Karibuni next time, and let's keep it Sinema Corner. Subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you very much.
Please, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on Sinema Corner.